This is We Are the Goobs. You know what that is, Drake?
I don't
Me either. We're moving on. Drake, let's start with Animals of the Week. We're getting right into it. I don't have time for anything else. Just kidding. I always have time for other things. Well, let's start with Animals of the Week. Do you want to go first or should I?
You go first.
I'll go first. My animal is the Tibetan fox. Tibetan fox. So they live in the high Tibetan Plateau, Nepal, China, Bhutan, and the Indian states of Ladakh and Sikkim, up to elevations of 5,300 meters or 17,400 feet. So they live very high up on plateaus.
Wow.
Tibetan foxes can cooperate with brown bears during hunting. The bears dig out the pikas, and the foxes grab them when they escape. So there's a Tibetan fox brown bear team up. I would have not guessed that that was a thing. Also, the Tibetan fox is a small and compact with soft, dense coats and conspicuously narrow muzzles and bushy tails. These foxes are not territorial, and often several pairs may live close to each other and even share hunting grounds. So they're not, their Tibetan foxes want to come around and hang out. They're all for it. They all hang out in the same area. What animal did you go with, sir?
Turkey vulture.
Tell me some things. Go ahead.
The turkey vulture has an extraordinary sense of smell, and they can be known to be able to smell from over a mile away, which is very unique in the bird world.
Wow.
That's
far.
It's far.
Yep.
Researchers have determined that turkey vultures can travel at up to 200 miles in a day.
200 miles in one day. They're just moving around, flying around.
That's a lot.
That's far. Yep.
Turkey vultures are the only scavenger birds that can't kill their prey.
So they just scavenge legitimately. They find something dead they can eat, they go eat it. They don't hunt anything themselves.
That's weird.
Yeah, cool.
They can have a wingspan of up to 6 feet.
Terrifying. Let's just call it like it is.
Terrifying.
That's absolutely terrifying. Anything else about turkey vultures?
Nope.
They are wild stuff. If you haven't seen one, look one up on the old interwebs. The word of the day is uncanny. You ever heard that word before? I think I've used it before. Not correctly. Uncanny is typically used to describe something that is strange or unusual in a way that is surprising or difficult to understand. It can also describe something that seems to have a supernatural character or origin. The child has an uncanny ability to recognize streets and locations he's only seen once or twice before. Do you have any uncanny abilities, things that are strange and unusual that are very surprising?
No.
I think you have an uncanny ability to hit wiffle balls over the fence when they're not supposed to go over the fence to the right. Let's move on to the country. Trinidad and Tobago, I believe, which is an island country in the Caribbean. It's 2 islands, Trinidad and Tobago, and it's one country. Tell me some things about Trinidad and Tobago, sir.
Trinidad and Tobago obtained independence in 1962 and became a republic in 1976.
Cool. What else?
They are not that old.
I know. It's wild.
Both Trinidad and
Tobago. Yeah.
Tobago were originally settled by people who came through South America. Trinidad was first settled by people at least 7,002 years ago, making it earliest settled part of Caribbean.
Of the Caribbean. So there's been people there for a very, very long time.
And now, it was just like, it should have been like they should have got independence.
I know. Well, that's the hard thing is I believe Christopher Columbus was the one who came over from Europe and took over Trinidad and Tobago, and so they've been under
that
Spanish
was that
rule.
island?
Yeah, so they got all these. There's so many.
I read about that. They said they landed on an island.
They did, yeah. So Columbus,
they never said it was that.
Well, there were several islands. They reached Cuba and Haiti and those islands first, but then eventually I believe they got to Trinidad and Tobago. Anything else about these countries, sir?
The country is well known for its African and Indian cultures, as well being the birthplace of
the steel pan. It's an instrument.
Yeah, I'm real good at
Yeah.
this. The limbo and musical styles such as
calypso and soca. Do you know what those are? They're like combination of like Indian and West African music styles, which I had to look that up. I didn't know that either. Any other facts about Trinidad and Tobago?
Trinidad and Tobago is leading Caribbean producer of oil and gas, and its economy is heavily dependent upon these resources.
So oil and gas is what they're dishing out there. So there's some things about Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, it's down in the Caribbean, where there's Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, and a bunch of those. It's down there. And I will say this is a random thing. It's just totally random. In D2, The Mighty Ducks. You ever seen the Mighty Ducks movies?
No.
This is so random. So sorry to everybody who's listening to this. They play Trinidad and Tobago in hockey, which seems, I mean, I don't know if that's actually accurate, that Trinidad and Tobago has an amazing hockey team, but it always felt like kind of crazy. I never knew what the country was, and now I know more about it. Moving on to this day in history, May 11, 330. We're going way back. On this day in 330, Constantine the first dedicated Byzantium, so Constantinople, now Istanbul, as the new capital of the Eastern Roman Empire, an act that helped transform it into a leading city in the world. So when the Roman Empire split between West and East, Constantine moved the capital from Rome to Constantinople, and then there was all this crazy stuff that happened after that. Any thoughts?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me some national days for the day. What are the national days?
Mother's Day.
Yep, fun.
National Eat What You Want Day.
Love that.
That's a weird national day.
It's the best national one out there.
National Foam Rolling Day. What is a foam roll?
It's the thing that when your muscles are tight and you roll them, you know, you get the little, it's like a foam roller. It's like a cylinder and you can roll it on your calves. Yeah.
Oh.
I think.
National Train Day.
Okay.
That one makes more sense. National Twilight Zone Day.
You know, you ever seen that show? Twilight Zone?
No.
I haven't either, but it's like an older show. I think they remade it probably a couple times, but it's like an older show that has weird stuff happening in it. Some people really like it. Some people don't. Some people are in the middle about it. What do you know? Moving on to the song recommendation. We're getting to the bottom of the barrel of One Direction songs here, and it's been 70-something episodes in a row. Spaces off the album 4 by One Direction is my song recommendation. Do you have a recommendation?
No.
All right. Well, you're going to recommend Permission to Dance by BTS. Boom. Did it. Now moving on to the Book of Unusual Knowledge. We talked about this before. I have this random book published in 2012. Has a bunch of facts in it. I just open it up. I write one down, and I check it off, and we're just going through this book completely randomly. I'll go first. So Disney's first animated feature film, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, cost nearly $1.5 million to make,
Wow.
$33 million today. Huge gamble for Disney, but it went on to be a tremendous financial success and got critical acclaim. Do you have a fact from the book for me, sir?
The first calendar was invented by the Egyptians more than 5,000 years ago to let everybody know when the Nile River was scheduled to flood its banks.
Yeah, so the Nile was very consistent on like when the water would like rise and fall, and that's how they could plant a lot of crops on there. So yeah, they made a calendar based on that. 5,000 years ago is a long time. Let's just call it like it is. In 1814, the original Library of Congress was burned down by the British along with the Capitol. To replace it, Congress bought Thomas Jefferson's personal book collection, which consisted of approximately 6,500 volumes. So Library of Congress got burned down, and they said, hey, Thomas, how many books you got? And he's like, all the books, 6,500. And then they started a new Library of Congress. It's quite a bit. How many books do you think you have? 13? 27?
No, I wouldn't that.
49?
I'm thinking right now like 50 because I have
Nice.
like tiny books that I used to read when I was little.
What else do we got in this book of facts, sir?
The human eye blinks an average of 3.7 million times per year.
I'm blinking a lot right now just so I can get my number up.
Per year.
Yeah, I want 4 million this year, so I'm blinking a lot. Neptune takes 165 Earth years to orbit the sun. It appears blue because it is made of methane gas. Winds on Neptune can reach up to 1,200 miles per hour. Also, Neptune has 8 moons. So Neptune 165 Earth years to go around the sun once for Neptune. So 165 years ago, what was even happening? I wasn't alive, obviously, unless I'm immortal. You never know. Wow, crazy. And 1,200 mile per hour wind gusts. Winds. Do you think you could stand in 12? Do you think if you did the weather report on Neptune, you could just stand in the 1,200 mile per hour gusts of wind, or you think you'd probably blow away?
That is technically not a question.
Any other facts from this book, sir?
The praying mantis is the only insect that can turn its head 360 degrees.
I was already terrified of praying mantises. Mantises. I don't know how to say the plural of that. And I'm even more terrified that they can turn their head all the way around now. That's just praying mantises
This
are
is
crazy.
the weirdest fun fact I've ever read in a book. If there's strong winds, the Mississippi River can flow backwards.
Really? Is that a thing?
Yes.
Wow. I'm gonna actually hold on. Mississippi River flow backwards. Yes. Did temporarily flow backwards due to a massive earthquake in 1812. That's kind of crazy. All right. Wild stuff. Something to accomplish. I said I was going to walk 17.35 miles. I did. Finish the puzzle that I started. I did. This week I'm going to draw 5 random things because I haven't drawn in a while. I didn't even give you goals last time because I was just talking about myself. You know, I was just like rattling off stuff about myself. So we need to give you goals for this week. Drake, what do you want to do this week?
Hit all 99, so like shortstop 99.
Hit all 99 and MLB the show. Gotcha.
Oh, no.
Is that right? MLB the show?
Yeah.
What else you want to do?
Win our first baseball
Win
game.
your first baseball game. Anything else?
No.
Have 2 cookies.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, moving on to everyone's favorite part before we close this out. Sporkle time, obviously, because, Drake and I love to fail at Sporkle. This is smallest country minefield. So can you name the 100 smallest countries by area without naming a country that's bigger than that?
Bigger?
Outside the top 100. So obviously we wouldn't say like the United States because it's really big, or Russia or Canada. So think about smaller countries. Let's see how many we can get before we lose. Are you ready? I'm very, very nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You know what's probably small? Luxembourg, right?
Uruguay?
Uruguay?
Uruguay? I feel like that one could.
Oh, I don't know how to spell Uruguay. Hold on. I'm back in it. Oh, we lost. Second one. Uruguay is 108th in area. Well, Drake, that was the slowest. That was, how many seconds was that?
Suck.
That was 13 seconds. That is the worst.
I don't even know any. That was the smallest country I could think of. That was the smallest country I could think of.
Sporkle, 13 seconds. We got one country, Luxembourg, and then we threw Uruguay in there, and it was wrong.
I don't know any other small countries.
That's too funny. Guess how many episodes we've done of this show? Total. You, me, and Ella Elise. Close. We've done 73. And Ella Elise has been in a contract dispute for like the last 17 episodes. Your contract is coming up soon, so I hope your agent does not get crazy with negotiations because I can't do this podcast by myself. Anything you want to say before we go now that we failed so fast at Sporkle?
We can't name small countries.
Yeah, we got to be done with countries on Sporkle. And what did I say at the beginning? Oh, yeah. See ya.